Brad Muniz. I'm a partner at Sobel and Company, and I would like to welcome you to Sobel Insights. Sobel Insights is a weekly series to provide some brief information on various topics. Our goal is to keep the sessions to 15 minutes. At this time, we are not offering CPE. If we ever move into the world of nano credits, we'll be offering CPE. If you do have any ideas for topics or speakers, feel free to email me. We'd like to try and provide as much information that you find informative. Speaking about interesting topics, today we have Ellen Marvin, who's the Director of Client Accounting and Advisory Services at SobelCo. The department that I think that she still works with, but the name we used to go by a lot was Core Services. And it was a name I think that Glenn Taylor came up with years ago because he said, these are the core services. These are the basic or the nuts and bolts of any company of what they need. So I could talk to anybody about accounting and auditing and stuff, and I just see the glazed look over people's faces. But I bring up just the nuts and bolts, even how do I file registrations? How do I set up a company? And people just are very interested in it. And then I start talking about accounting again. I just put them back to sleep. So Ellen, I welcome you to today to talk about something that I think is really interesting. I'm sure a lot of our listeners are going to find interest in it. And it's cloud-based accounting systems.
Yes.
I'm nervous already because, you know, I'll say my age, not asking you, I'll say mine. I'm 55 and that cloud is a little bit crazy for me. Why would somebody want to move to the cloud-based accounting systems?
Well, first I want to say you're not alone. There's a lot of people who are nervous about the cloud, and I don't think age really has anything to do with it. It's perception of what you believe the cloud to be, and some media hype onto some really, situations that have happened that make people scared. But if this pandemic has done anything, it has really shown business owners the importance of being able to be agile and mobile, and the ability to have real-time access to their data. And think about how difficult it was for those business owners who had manual processes and maybe still just writing checks out of a checkbook, matching it against invoices that their administrative assistant helped pull from the file cabinet. And then the pandemic hit and everybody was at home. And imagine how difficult it was for those people to really pick up and change and their entire process of accounting in order to keep the businesses still running. And then when you think about that, now think about those business owners trying to apply for a PPP loan or take a credit that's being offered, but maybe just for a limited time, like the employee retention credit. And you can see how time-sensitive opportunities like that could pass you by if you don't have real up-to-date information. And, if that really wasn't enough to at least consider moving to the cloud, then some of the classic reasons, like just the ability to have mobility and not be tied to your desk. So you want to go play golf, you want to go to the islands for a week, you can still approve payroll. You can still get invoices paid. Generally cloud-based, or what's called SaaS, software as a service, helps reduce the cost of your infrastructure and your operating costs. And oftentimes moving to the cloud really improves security surrounding your financial data.
And before you mention security, I want to say that I work with a lot of clients still where they're asking me to look at their data, and I go to their office and get on the computer and look at the data. Well, now it's more difficult to do that. And I'm sitting here saying, I wish they were on the cloud because it would just make it so much easier for me to patch in and be able to look at it.
Yeah.
But
the collaboration is one of the most important reasons. You could have people all over the country and be able to collaborate entirely easily as long as everyone has an internet connection.
Now that's you mentioned the word secure, and you mentioned everybody being able to tap in. Yeah. Is it real, or is this a mystery that we'll just dispel right now? And you're gonna probably say some of each.
Yeah, it's that classic answer, right? It depends, but no, not really. First, let me just say that there's no system that's 100% secure. And I say that because it was just a few years ago, the Pentagon got hacked into, and if the Pentagon can get hacked, There's no system that's 100% secure. But this is a huge myth that really prevents a lot of small business owners from making that leap to the cloud and taking advantage of some of the newer technologies. And it really puts them a step behind some of the other businesses that are not afraid. If you think about it, many of us have adopted the cloud in our personal life, right? We do online banking. You want to pay your electric bill, you have it automatically being withdrawn from your bank account. Cloud-based providers are so hyped up on making sure things are secure, particularly those that deal with financial data or sensitive data. They spend a huge amount of their budget goes into providing security and ensuring that there's multiple servers involved so that data is not lost, that if there was a breach, it's contained. They have processes in place to deal with that system. And most of the cloud-based accounting providers, even the small ones, use the same encryption level that your online bank uses, which is 128 SSL encryption, which is just the tech speak for saying that it takes your data and chops it up into a lot of little encoded parts, encrypts it before it sends it over the internet. And,
right, and then and I noticed most of them have what's known as dual authentication. So you have to kind of get that that link to be able to go in.
Rule-based authentication, and think about a non-cloud-based system, Brad, where small business owners operate sometimes with just one server sitting in their closet. Some people have just their entire financial data on their laptop, which to me terrifies me. Think about what happens if that server or computer fails, just from age, just fails. Right. Or, your cat walks by and spills a cup of water over the keyboard. Or even worse, you get a virus, or we've had clients who've been attacked by ransomware. Ransomware is when someone attacks your computer and holds it hostage. Well, unless you pay a bunch of money to get it back. Well, now you say, well, okay, I back up my data all the time. I'm backing up my data, so I'll only lose a week's worth of data. Well, a lot of business owners think they're backing up their data, and many of them do, but not as many. Very few actually check those processes to see if the backups are working. And even if it is, the cost of recovering or recreating your entire accounting system or even 1 year's worth of data is extremely expensive. We've had to do it for clients. It's extremely expensive.
So are there difficulties in moving to the cloud-based environment? Any circumstances that you can think of? Yeah, so yes, one of the things I hear a lot from clients is, well, I can't move to the cloud because it's more difficult for me to move to the cloud because I have this really complex inventory and I have this POS system in place, or fill in the blank. And things that you think make moving to the cloud more difficult are usually difficult, but they're not impossible if the benefits of moving to the cloud outweigh the reasons that you're not. So there are many clients that opt for a hybrid method supporting are in the cloud. And this is important because it doesn't have to be all or one. And it doesn't have to be that you use only one cloud-based financial software. There are many applications out there designed to deal with a variety of circumstances and difficult solutions that would help you place them onto the cloud. So this last is important for smaller businesses because choosing the right application is so important. You have to think about, if there's any specific industry needs, do you have specific reporting needs?
Is there a special way you need your data set up? How do you need to share this with others? And so there are a variety of softwares like Wave or ZipBooks that are completely free. They are free accounting softwares out there, but they are generally pretty limited. And even some of the other softwares have like introductory level, like QuickBooks has QuickBooks Essentials, and Sage Accounting has Sage, and they are best used for like self-employed individuals, freelancers who are really just using the basics to track their expenses, don't have high reporting needs, don't need to share this information with much people beyond their tax preparer. And at the other end of the spectrum, you have software such as NetSuite or Sage Intacount, which are robust ERP systems, and they can deal with any situation, the most complex situations, but it can come with a very steep learning curve and a steeper price tag too. So, that's one of the options. Then you have the middle of the road, which is where a lot of our small to mid-sized businesses find themselves, choosing a software. And of course, the well-known names in the small to medium-sized businesses are all there. You have FreshBooks, you have Xero, you have Xero, and you have QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online is the software that our firm uses as its primary cloud-based solution, but each of these solutions has some well-known strengths and weaknesses, but it's often better to choose the software by its strengths unless there is an incredible weakness that it wouldn't handle. So I don't know if you are interested in hearing about that or not. Or
No, we have a significant nonprofit practice, and I'm sure that you get questions from them a lot of times. Would nonprofits benefit from moving over to the cloud systems?
Oh, absolutely. Nonprofits are one of the type of organizations that we see most often interested in moving to the cloud. Of course, in addition to already, the things we already mentioned, one of the benefits is the ease of flow of information between board members or volunteers, people that you have to disseminate information to. That really happens when people are located in lots of different locations, like nonprofits often have. We have many nonprofits using cloud-based software to help them decrease the cost of operations by implementing automation in common processes like approving and paying bills, like report dissemination, like generating contribution acknowledgement letters, which they're required to do. And even when those services are already being performed and they say, oh, well, we have a volunteer doing that, they're moving to the cloud because then that volunteer's time can be used in something that's more mission-based, which of course improves the ratio of the amount of time that is spent on mission-based activities versus management or administrative-based activities. Right. And the biggest reason perhaps is assisting in the audit. When nonprofits need audit, a lot of the applications allow for the attachment of documents to specific transactions in your accounting software. QuickBooks does a really good job at this. One of the reasons why we chose that software. It virtually eliminates the need for auditors to ask for documents. Because
one of the things I wish that more companies would move to is, giving us access to be able to see the transactions, not change them, but also have the attachments there. The last question I have, and I'm sure everybody.
Say, that's another reason why we use QuickBooks. They allow for an accountant user that can't do a lot of those things. So more and more nonprofit organizations are giving their auditors accountant user permissions that would allow just what you said. You can't you can see, but you can't do anything.
So we're coming up on the 15-minute mark. The big question I'm sure everybody wants to know is, what's the cost of moving online?
Okay.
I know you said there's free ones out there, but
there are free options, but they are limited. And what's important there is they might not be able to scale with your organization as it grows, you know, and Wave is probably the most well-known one, and it's easy to use if you want to check it out. But then you need to consider how many users you're going to be having, because many software subscriptions are set at a per user per month, or a certain number of users for a certain price per month. Roughly, you could probably plan to spend between $10 and $100 a month if you have under 5 users, maybe $50 to $300 a month if you have, you know, under 10, like 5 to 10. And then you're looking at probably at least 150 or up if you have more than 10 users. And the higher level ERP systems like NetSuite or Intercount, they really go on they will quote your price based on your specific application. If you host in the cloud, which we didn't even get into, but if you want to stick with your desktop solution, like a QuickBooks Enterprise or Sage 50, you can do that hosted in the cloud. That's going to be a little pricier, though, that you're going to pay for your software, then plus the hosting, which can be, you know, anywhere from like $375 for under 10 users, maybe up to, you know, 600 to 1,000 for more. So, and then the last cost that you guys need to consider if you are moving online for the first time, is that you really are going to have some setup costs involved, depending on how big your firm is. If you have a current system that you want transferred to the cloud, it can really range from like $500 to $3,000, and then you should invest in some training, which you know, can usually range in the $500 area for a half-day session, up to about $1,200 or so for a full day.
Great. Well, Ellen, I want to thank you for the information. Hopefully the people, you know, received what they need to know, and if not, I know they can reach out to you. Our information will be put up on the presentation. I want to remind everybody to please go visit our website, SobelCo website, and look for our other presentations. And I want to thank you for viewing this presentation. Ellen, thank you very much. And
you're welcome. Happy to come back anytime.
That's great. Thank you.